These aren't golden retriever paw pads.
Oh, no?
Those are border collie paw pads.
What kind of dog is that?
Oh, he's just a little Basenji. Got some pug.
Looks like greyhound hips there.
Greyhound hips,
Check it
yeah.
out. Yeah, get the DNA test.
He's cute. What's his name?
Rhythm.
He might be like a Weimaraner.
Yeah.
Lhasa Apso.
Yeah, Lhasa what's up?
I think they're Norwegian. No, Chinese.
Tibetan?
Yeah.
Something like that.
Is that a rescue?
He's a rescue.
Yeah.
You have to rescue.
Oh,
We used to do that DNA thing.
I've not done it.
Oh, you gotta do
I'm
the
thinking
DNA.
about doing it. I know. I want to do it.
Oh, look at that. He's got a min pin butthole.
Oh, what kind of butthole is that?
That's a Bichon butthole.
Hey, what kind of dog is that?
It's a rescue, so I don't really know. What kind of dog is that?
A Chiweenie. Kind of looks like a pit bull in the face. You should get a DNA test.
Oh, yeah, I think I'm going to do that.
Yeah, you got to do it.
TBTL.
Guess what day it is? Guess what day it is?
It's Friday. Gonna get down on Friday.
Everybody's looking forward to the weekend.
Facts are meaningless. You can use facts to prove anything that's even remotely true.
Nah, I'm done gatekeeping. I got gatekeep once and hated it, so I'm about to spill some tea.
My dream is to sail around the world on a catamaran with 2 members of every cat race and share my love with cats for all the humans to see around the world.
And boom goes the dynamite.
Well, all right. Hello, good morning, and welcome everyone to a Friday edition of TBTL, the show that just might be too beautiful to live.
This will sound stupid, but I think it's worth talking about.
My name is Luke Burbank. I'm your host.
Another day, another victory for the OG, taking down the sweats, the imposters among us.
Coming to you from the Madrona Hill studio, perched high above the mighty Columbia, where we're looking at some a mix of cloud and blue skies today. I'm going to give it a Oma Pa. It's beautiful rating.
Pa, it's just beautiful.
Definitely going to be grass-worthy today. It's going to be kind of day where I'm at the point now where I'm mowing the lawn probably 2 times a week, trying to stay ahead of the growth pattern of things right now, because it's still kind of wet out, but then it gets warm and then things just go crazy around here. Speaking of going crazy, welcome to episode 4708 in a collector's series.
Let the fun begin.
Last night, I finally hunkered down with my HBO Max subscription, and I watched all of the new Stephen Conrad show, DTF St. Louis.
I love television. I got to have that thing on 24/7. I love the patter.
And, well, I found it quite intriguing and entertaining. We may talk about that, try to keep the spoilers to a minimum. Actually, I don't know if we can talk about this with Andrew or if he's already signed away his rights to discuss that to Genevieve, because they might do a whole podcast about the show. I guess we'll find that out from him, the longest-running co-bro of the show, maybe best known for his depictions of the tall ships. He set a record for sending the newsletter out at like 7:30 a.m. today, because he's been up since 4 a.m. dealing with his dog.
In short, things are going extremely well for him.
He's Andrew Walsh, and he's joining me right now. Good morning, my friend.
Good morning, Luke. Do you know that the sun rises like every day? It's not just up there.
I know,
like
Earth
when you wake
face
up.
east.
Earth face east. Hey, listen, before we get into all that, I came across something today that is both at the same time so perfect for us and so imperfect for us at the same time. And I want to share this with you. It's a quiz. Yeah. I follow a how are the levels, by the way? I'm going
Sounding
out
great.
of my mind. I'm so sleep deprived right now. I follow this account on Blue Sky. I can't figure out what it's called right now. I just it floated across my transom at some point, and I started following it. And basically, it's some sort of bot that scrapes the internet for very obscure, weird little corners of the internet, weird websites and stuff, and then it just shoots them out to you. And it's a way that I found some really weird time-wasting things, like communal spaces where you can virtually...
Oh, yeah, like look through the security camera at like a hotel lobby or something.
Oh, well, that's kind of a different... creepy thing I do. That's a subreddit called Controllable Webcams, where you can people share open webcams around the world, not looking at people's private lives, but security cams, places that are open, and you can just watch various places. But this is just like some bot. It's just like, I don't know, like, look, this guy has made this website dedicated to his dog. Sometimes it'll just be that. Other times it might be, I don't know, some sort of creative space where you can draw little horses and then you send the horses into a field and they play with other people's crudely drawn horses. It's like all kinds of weird stuff. People are just creating, which I love. This to me was the dream of the internet when it was like a Wild West. People were just learning codes and putting weird stuff out there, and if you like it, you like it. And I came across one today. It tweeted this out, or it blue skied this out, and it's called the Tube Sound Quiz. Now check this out. It says, guess the tube line. Each London underground line has its own distinctive sound. God. Can you tell them apart? Now, this is perfect for us because it is sound rich. It is such a cool idea. But it's terrible for us because I've never been on the tube. And as far as I know, you've only been on there once, maybe?
I think I've been on the tube probably 4 times total between. I oddly took like 2 trips to London in a fairly short amount of time, but I wasn't like getting around by tube the whole time. I took it more as an experiment because I'd heard I wanted to know if in fact the gap needed minding.
Did it?
Yeah, it did. Yeah. I mean, I couldn't even tell you like a tube station. Actually, no. You know what? I was Tottenham Square. I think Tottenham Square. I can tell you that because I think that's where I was staying in Bloomsbury. So hopefully one of these is the tube that goes to Tottenham Square.
Well, we don't have to do the whole thing. There's only 9 questions. I got a pretty paltry 0 out of 9 today when I took it. I don't know if
I mean,
you know,
Tottenham. By the way, I'm already 0 for 1. It's Tottenham Court Road. It's not even Tottenham Square. So. Swing and a miss.
What I like about this is, for me, there's some room for improvement. So again, we're not going to do the whole quiz because it's ridiculous. You and I don't know the sounds, but man, what a great idea! Somebody do this for bus stops around Seattle.
Well, that's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
If you could do this for Seattle, you might actually have a puncher's chance.
Maybe, although there is something called Roodle, which is like. Phyllis does it every day and sends me her results, and I tried playing once and I'm like, I don't know, but it's like they show you just a line, like not a squiggly line, but like a line without any context, and you have to guess what bus route is that in Seattle. It's a Seattle-based Wordle game.
Actually, I think that's kind of a fun idea.
It's pretty cool, but it really underscores how I talk a big game about public transportation, but I only know a few lines these days. I know the 40, I know the E line, I know this or that. But anyway, I love this idea. I'm just going to give you a few examples, and then we'll move on. I'm going to play a sound for you.
So you'll have the answer. You'll know the answer.
Well, we will. I will play a sound for you. I will give you 4 options. You will choose an option. I will click on it, and it will immediately tell me whether or not you were right or wrong. Okay, so here is the first sound.
Okay. Oh, I'll stop you right there. That's Piccadilly Circus.
That is. Here are your options. You have Jubilee. Wait, I should keep it underneath us. Yeah. You have Jubilee.
You know, I did. One of the tube lines I was taking was towards Jubilee.
Well, and also Piccadilly is one of the choices here. You have Jubilee, Piccadilly, and that's what you guessed, right? Victoria or Bakerloo. Do you want to stick with?
Let me hear more. Okay, well, let me think. That sounds like it's underground because there are parts. In fact, when I was going towards Jubilee, there were sections that were above ground, even though it's called the tube. So this sounds below ground. I'm going with first thought, best thought. I'm going with Piccadilly Circus.
I'm going to hit Piccadilly, and it says, "Oh, this was the Victoria line." It says, "Clean electric hum, faster acceleration wine, 2009 stock, automated." So that's pretty cool. Next question. Answer the question.
This is special. This is special.
This feels like real foamer activity.
We're going to call this Answer the Question Tube. All right, here's another sound.
Okay.
By the way, the options will be different this time. I want to be clear about that.
Oh, yeah. Charing Cross. I'd bet my life on it.
That sound underground again? I can't tell.
It does. It sounds echoey, like it's underground.
Okay, here are your options for this. Not the one you said. You have Piccadilly again, Jubilee again, Central or Northern.
I'm going Jubilee.
Go Jubilee. The answer is it was Piccadilly.
Dang it!
That's what you said before.
I was so. Did I get half a point?
Oh wait, that was that was. Did you say Piccadilly last time? Maybe you said.
I
Piccadilly.
did. Yeah,
Okay.
last time I said Piccadilly.
All right, next question.
Okay.
Jerk. I don't know why I keep
Yeah.
doing that. Here we go. That sounds very different. That could be. Hold on, choices?
let me think.
Do you want some choices? They're different each time.
I want to try to guess because if I say it and then it's on the list, I'm definitely.
Okay. Okay.
How about Vauxhall?
That's not on the list.
Dang it.
You have Victoria, Northern, Central, or Circle. You hear?
I'm going with Circle. Circle gets the square.
Circle gets the square.
Because we
Circle does get the square. Correct. It says open, airy sound with a gentle S-stock hum, subsurface line.
Clapping back at my haters who said I would never be able to guess the tube based on the sound. Take that to my ops.
You got 1 out of 3 so far, which is better than I had.
So many more than I expected.
I didn't think we were going to do the whole thing. Maybe we will. I am having the time of my life.
Yeah.
Wait, that sounds bigger somehow.
Yeah. I wonder if our friend Paul. I wonder if our friend Paul still listens in the UK. I wonder what.
I haven't heard from Paul in a long time.
I haven't either.
Paul, you out there? Hope
Paul,
you're doing well, buddy.
we're really super serving you right now, buddy. I mean,
Bakerloo, Circle, Northern, or District. That mic is really close. You can tell. It's almost like blowing out.
Sounds like a Mick Gee guitar solo.
Oh yeah.
What was Bakerloo?
Bakerloo.
I'm going Bakerloo.
Okay, Bakerloo is correct.
Hey.
This is blowing my mind.
I might be a natural at guessing, at having a 25% chance.
How about that? I'm a natural at having.
I'm a natural at guessing and having a statistically breakdown that I 1 out of 4 times it works.
Deep rumble with here. Let me hit it.
Yeah, let's hear if we hear this now.
Deep rumble with heavy rattle. Oldest rolling stock on the network.
That's some info you can use. By the way, it's a little bit like when you're tasting some wine, and the sommelier or whatever says like, I'm getting some stone fruit, I'm getting some tobacco, and then you taste it, you're like, yeah, I'm definitely getting all of that. Like once they say low rumble, once they describe the sound, I'm hearing the sound once they say that, but I don't know if that's just because of the power of suggestion.
Yeah, that one actually sounded a little bit nutty to me.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, you get that. Here's another sound for you. It is cool, right? They do sound very different.
This one sounds old to me, and the reason is because that clump, 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 it sounds like something is some part of the line or there's something unsmooth about it. You know how the very first one you played, it was like one of the newer...
Yeah.
It was like the newer trains, and it said electric and gliding. This feels unglided. This feels like it's doing clunk, clunk.
It's clanky.
Clunk, clunk.
It's clanky.
Yeah, clanky. Clang, 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 went the Farringdon. I'm going to put that down, Farringdon.
Farringdon isn't in here. You have, here are your options. Clankton, Clankerton, Smootherton, or Easerton. No, Northern, Metropolitan, Central, or District.
Gosh, those are so general.
Yeah, they are.
I want a cool name like Finchley Road in Frognall.
They drive there.
Is Finchley Road in Frognall on there?
No.
How about Hampstead Heath? Becca and I went and visited Hampstead Heath because her family did this. Really, boy, did we come from different people. Boy, did we come from different families. Like, you know how like, yeah, well, it's barely recognizable that we're from the same species, the Burbanks and the McCullochs, but like, back before the days of Airbnb and stuff, their parents, for a few summers in a row, they would trade houses. There was this catalog you could get. You'd list your home in it, and then you'd look through other people in other places that you wanted to go to. And then you would find someone through like letters in the mail of, hey, we are in England, and we would love to come stay in the Willamette Valley of Oregon. and then you would trade homes for the summer. And I mean, what a cool culture. I know you wouldn't be down for this, Andrew.
Meanwhile, you were chewing on sticks on Duck Island where you spent
I was having my weed, Todd Staley and Donald Whitehouse's weed stolen by rocker dudes.
Duck Island is a tiny island in a lake in Seattle, in Green Lake.
I was on, exactly. I summered on Duck Island. Meanwhile, they were in Hampstead Heath.
Okay.
Anyway, so I'm gonna go. Was Northern on there?
Metropolitan, Central, or District?
I'm gonna go Northern.
You're gonna go Northern. Just for the record, I was feeling Metropolitan. Let's see.
Let's go Metropolitan.
Too late. We're both wrong. It was District. Moderate rumble, mixed tunnel and open sections, S-stock trains. I don't know what that means. But we're just clicking on wrong here, as it were. So let's do it. We only have a few more. I'm going to play this sound for you. Oh, my gosh.
That is...
Oh, my gosh.
That's premium. That's top shelf tube.
Now we have Bakerloo, Jubilee, Central, or Metropolitan.
I'm going to keep, because it's the only answer that I have even the most moderate of connections to, I'm going to go back to Jubilee.
All right, we're going to check out Jubilee here, and it is correct.
Hey.
Now I'm getting pissed off. I gotta be honest with you. The first two were funny and cute. How are you getting these? Correct. Smooth, modern hum with deep bass. 1996 stock in deep tunnels.
Okay. Yeah, I feel like we weren't. I don't even know if we were getting off at Jubilee, but we were heading that direction because of, I think we were trying to go to Hyde Park or something. I forget now. But what I remember was it was warm. It was summertime, and it was not overly air conditioned in that tube car. But everybody seemed to be sort of rolling with it in the way that when you take if you take a subway car in New York and it's the summer and the air is broken, everybody abandons the car. You'll just see these packed cars, and there'll just be one that has no one in it, and either someone has taken a shit in the car, or the AC doesn't work. But it's like there's something off about this. It's like Pete Carroll used to say, like, if you're hunting a rabbit and the rabbit starts coming at you, there's something wrong with the rabbit.
Oh, I never heard him say that.
And that was like, you'd be like, oh, cool, empty car all to myself. Oh, this is why this is like that. But no, in England, they seem to be, stiff upper lip and all of that, what was it? Keep calm and carry on. That's the vibe.
Yeah, right. Okay,
that was fun. Let's quit while I'm ahead.
No, a couple more. How about just one more?
You got to bring me back down.
One more.
You got to bring me back down.
Which one is this? Just kidding. That's Pearl Jam. I was needle dropping that. I really was hoping. I wanted that. I wanted that, but I didn't have it isolated.
You got to put in the time. You've got to spend way too much time on a Thursday morning loading it.
That's God! If I had that, I just had the idea now. Though here's another.
That was good.
That sounds cavernous.
Yeah, wait. I mean, that sounds like deep in the heart of the earth.
Northern, Bakerloo, Central, or Metropolitan?
I'm going Metropolitan.
I like that too. That's what my gut said. Good. Oh, okay. But I'm bad luck, and you're better at this than I am. Maybe you want to zig. Damn it! Never trust your Andrews. It was the Northern Line. Intense low.
Man.
Okay, I know that. That's Nirvana. Intense low roar with screech on curves. Deepest sections.
Deepest section. I'm kind of proud of us, Andrew, that we analyzed or we assessed that part of the tape. I thought pretty well.
We're professional sound guys. I got two more here. I don't want to belabor it. Wow. Oh. That's Clankerton
Sounds like
again.
It's going fast.
Yeah, and clanking.
Sounds like it's going really fast.
Does it sound like a Jubilee? Does it sound like Central? Does it sound like Bakerloo? Or does it sound like Northern? I can't remember which ones we already picked that were right answers.
I don't think we've done Bakerloo.
Okay, Bakerloo. We're going for it. Unfortunately, that was Central. High-pitched whine. High-pitched whine with strong tunnel resonance, deep level 2.
That really does almost sound like a drink.
It's
a high-pitched wine with deep tunnel resonance.
Okay, now spit it out. Now spit. Do not swallow that. Okay, this is the last one.
Earliest days of TBTL. I mean, I don't know. I remember this story. I don't need to fully excavate it, but like this should have been Cairo Radio's first indication that, old LB was going to be a problem, because this was in, I want to say, the first maybe month of us having a time slot on Cairo when TBTL was the night show, and there was some kind of a wine fest at the convention center by where the football stadium is.
Mm-hmm.
It used to be a big thing on Cairo. Like they bought a lot of ad time, whatever this wine event was, and we got some kind of, they gave me a pass or something, some deal to get in there because it was a station thing. And of course, I refused to spit. It was there was all these spit tanks everywhere and whatever. And I was like, that's perfectly good wine. I fully Steve Bruled it. I'm not.
Drunk people are so meta.
I'm not spitting out perfectly good wine. Wine was invented by Romans for orgies, which are no fun if nobody wants to do it with you. So I
you ever have a true love? You ever have a slow burner?
Yeah, I had basically like I got very into my cups, as we say, very quickly. And let's see here.
Oh, what a treat. We've got a very special guest. Dr. Steve Brule is up in wine country. He's going to show us a thing or two about the differences between different kinds of wine.
Steve? Hey, Jenny. Hey, Wayne. I don't even like wine, but guess what? You're going to like it. I need some cheese.
Steve, what kind of wine is that you're drinking? I can't see, hon.
Sweet berry wine.
So I ended up deciding I wanted to go sit in this like VIP area, which I felt I should have access to because of my wristband and my inebriation, I guess. And so some guy came over and decided to big dog me, who also, it wasn't like fancy. It was just a place to sit down. And this guy who didn't run the area. He just was in the area and was some wine guy and came over and was like, "Are you allowed to be here?" And we had words. And I was like, "Who the F are you?" Whatever. We didn't there was no fighting or whatever, but I think I was very dismissive of him or something. And then Monday, I forget who it was. I don't think it was Pete Gamble. Somebody
could have been somebody in sales, like that Brad guy, that bald Brad guy.
Yeah, but I feel like it was even worse than that because I think sales told on me to like maybe the Rodfather. I remember sitting in my boss's office trying to explain what had gone on because basically I think the guy had called the station. I mean, the guy who was trying to kick me out of there must have been part of whatever the group was that was spending the money on the advertising. I think I had a very angry salesperson at me, and then my boss is mad at me. And I mean, I forget, eventually it blew over, but all that is to say, it's good to spit out the wine, even though it is tasty.
All right, one last one here. This is what the people came here for today. Drink it in, smell it, swish it around.
Yeah, it's got an interesting nose.
Mm-hmm. So do you.
It almost sounds. It almost sounded that one. Almost sounded like it could be outside to me. I don't know. It didn't sound like it was in the deepest of the deep tunnels.
Yeah, I could see this being outside. I don't hear birds. I thought I heard birds in one of these earlier, but I don't. I could see this inside or outside, so I'm going to cover my bases there.
I think it's inside, probably.
Circle, Metropolitan, District, or Jubilee.
I'm going to go with Metropolitan. Wait, what
we should have been doing was writing down the answers they were giving us, and we would know this one.
I think Circle. I don't think we've done Circle yet. Have we done Circle?
We've guessed it. I don't know if we got it right, though. Circle gets a square. Wrong. It was Metropolitan.
It was Metropolitan.
It was Spacious Echo with rhythmic clatter. Close. Oh, that's my new bio. Spacious echo with rhythmic clatter. Subsurface, longer distances. All right. Well, anyway, like I said.
That was fun. Good thinking,
Bad
Andrew.
for us because we don't really know those. But what a great idea for a quiz, right? Like identify, like if you know a city really well, can you identify the sounds of that location? I love that.
I wonder if our listeners in New York or longtime New Yorkers could do that with different subway stops. To me, it would be, but this is maybe less about the stop and about the particular train, but it would be like, what is the squeak noise of the wheels? Because that's a big one with the subway. It's like, you'll just get a train coming and sometimes it'll just be like so loud. And I'm also very sensitive to those kinds of sounds. But that to me is more the overriding. Also, what you really want to do, this would be the move. Can you name New York subway stations by smell?
Oh, man.
Once they perfect that technology.
Especially
Court
online,
Street,
that'd be tough.
Court Street,
that's
100%.
Disgusting, but also like really intriguing. Okay, real question here about this, and then I'm sure you want to go to break. You probably want to take a nap or something, but can you think of a version of this? It doesn't have to be public transportation related, but that like you could identify this. Like, where would you excel at this if it were like? And again, this is a bad example, but like, I don't know. Casinos around the greater Los Angeles area, or the old Aurora. Like, what would be?
Yeah,
I'm really painting you as a real.
What would be a sonic? What would be a sonic environment that I would be able to
kind of differentiate?
Definitely casino related because it is a very sound rich environment.
It is, and they probably do have different vibes, right? A card room is going to sound different.
Card
than like
room
a
would.
big,
I mean, that would be like that'd be too easy. Honestly, it'd be more like. Or just kind of like, what does this casino have this game or not? This slot machine game? Like, are they playing? Do they have Huff and even more Puff? Do they have? Am I hearing? If I'm hearing Triple Fortune Dragon, is it Unleashed or is it not Unleashed? Is it Spitfire? I could narrow it. I could really probably I could do a disturbingly accurate sort of project on naming casino environments if you came up with a rubric for it.
That's pretty good. Yeah, I can't think
How
of
about
one
you?
for myself. I was, I like how specific we got with you, but I don't even know, like, would I be, I mean, they would sound very similar. I do think maybe locations around Seattle, but if there are things that I'm familiar with, you know what I mean? Like if it were I mean, this sounds crazy, but like, the downtown library, I probably wouldn't be able to tell different libraries apart, but the downtown library would probably have a very different sound than other places around
Do you
Seattle.
spend much time there? Have you spent much time
It's been a while. It's been a while. I used to go there a lot because we lived on Capitol Hill, so it was a lot closer. We would just I would just wander downtown sometimes. They would unfortunately have to put out a silver alert for me. But I would just sort of wander downtown sometimes, and then also if anybody were visiting and we just had some time to kill, I would take them to the library because it's for folks who don't know that's not a Gary, is it?
No, it's Rem Koolhaas.
Koolhaas, right.
Which is like, I mean, if you're going to become an architect and your last name is Koolhaas.
Yeah, you got it.
This was meant to be.
Yeah, exactly. Well, oh, God, we were playing some team, or maybe it was even during the WBC or something. There was a pitcher whose name was like, his last name was something like literally
Throws fast.
fastball. Oh, no. You know what it was? It was like Gas. I think somebody's last name was like Gas or something like that. I was like, of course you're going to be a pitcher.
Big weekend, the biggest one I've ever had. Big weekend.
I do have some big weekend plans on Sunday. We're doing a Livewire event at the Multnomah Whiskey Library, but I can't start my weekend, Andrew, you know this about me, until I've thanked the dazzling donors.
That's right.
I can't start. The weekend does not start for me until the dazzling donors who are supporting TBTL with their donations have been thanked. Then after that, Katie bar the door.
That's right.
Watch out, Rainier, Oregon. I've got you in my sights.
I wanted to play this for you because I feel like we should have done a big weekend segment at the top, and I sort of just like bowled over it without permission, just with that sound quiz.
Oh, I loved that quiz.
I wanted to hear it.
Well, how about this? I'm going to thank our first dazzling donor, and then I kind of feel like at this point, like for the foreseeable future, I know what your big weekend plans are.
Yes, chasing Lucy around the house. Yeah, drop it. Are you peeing? Drop it.
Yep. but I still may ask you about that anyway. First, though, I'll mention that this is 100% listener-supported podcasting, and supported by, you might say, well, it's listener-funded. People are paying money because there's a paywall, and you can't get the show unless you pay for it. No, these people are donating a significant amount of money voluntarily. They could be not doing this and still getting the show because the show is free for everyone. But these folks are so committed to the continued existence of TBTL that they're backing it up with their pocketbooks. And nobody's backed it up more on this show with their pocketbook that I can think of than maybe our pal Chris O'Leary, Mr. Brew York himself.
That's right. The man who once flew in an almost empty airplane.
And the person who maybe only rivaled by our friend Broadcast Barry and Chris O'Leary, the only two people I know of who fly, other than our friend Captain Will, but he's a pilot. That's his job. Like Chris, every time I look at Chris's Instagram, he is flying off to Hungary. In fact, he is personally credited with the defeat of Viktor Orban.
Wow.
His time in Hungary. No, he is all over the world all the time. Like he is a well-traveled person, is our pal Chris.
Actually, I apologize. I was saying his name wrong. It's Chris O'Leary.
Yes. We were doing so well with that for so many years. Chris says in the pronouncer, you've never said my name incorrectly, so I'd be impressed. Consider Chris impressed, Andrew.
Chris O'Leary.
How do you spell that? Quees? The kid, the umpire supervisor from DTF St. Louis.
Oh, I have not.
Kid.
By the way, that's right. You
haven't gotten to the end?
No, I wanted to let you know. I'm still only. This is totally my fault, but I want to let you know that I'm a little nervous about that conversation because I'm the one who reignited your interest in it because I watched the first 3 episodes. But speaking of big weekends.
Yeah.
Genevieve was supposed to be gone this weekend, which is going to give me tons of TV time because I have to be upstairs with the puppy. I can't be downstairs throwing darts and just leaving the puppy upstairs by herself. So my plan this weekend was to stay in the TV room, keeping her occupied and binging that show. But now Genevieve's plans have changed. She is staying home this weekend, but I will try to watch it. But I'm only 3 episodes in, and you've now finished it. And I am very protective of spoilers because I'm loving that show so much.
This is not a spoiler, but because you've gotten to the part
I know
where
that she's an umpire. Yes,
she's an umpire, and it just so happens that her supervisor, who's like a 15-year-old kid, and
love this.
I'm not spoiling anything, but his name is Quees, and he's because of the various machinations of the show and various police investigations, which again you know are ongoing.
Yeah,
he's trying to spell his name to them, and it's so when you were saying Quees for our friend Chris O'Leary, it reminded me of something. I've got it. It's very fresh on my mind, as you can tell.
I know. Is he the one?
Oh, that's why you and Genevieve. Because has Genevieve done with the show?
Genevieve has finished it. When Genevieve sets her mind to something, she finishes it. But I do think I might have seen I only saw the one little clip where we first see her for her very first game. This character knows nothing about umpiring, but she needs to pick up some extra work, and there's a school around the corner. So she somehow gets the job, even though she knows nothing about baseball. And it begins with them saying, okay, you got to yell play ball. And she says, why? Just start playing. Just play. He's like, just say it. You have to say it. She says, okay, fine, play ball. Not to me, to everybody else. She refuses the very first thing, which is just to say play ball to get the game started.
Yeah. And then Linda Cardellini in this umpire's outfit is quite a striking visual.
Yeah. And can we just say, do you mind me saying what?
No.
Genevieve, 2 nights ago when she finished the series says, I think for Halloween, I might be Linda Cardellini in this umpire's outfit. She's like, it would be perfect and nobody will get it. And then texted with that idea yesterday. You and Genevieve very much on the same page as usual.
You know what my thing was? I was watching, I was like, damn, I wish I was a woman because this would be a dope.
I know.
This would be a dope Halloween costume for a woman to wear because it's so iconic, but only to a very fairly niche group of viewers. Although I do feel like that show, maybe it's just the algorithm or just the I don't know, the way that the internet delivers me information and TikTok does people that are similarly inclined towards me. But I feel like it's getting much more buzz and heat than, say, like Patriot did.
Seems like that to me, too. It's a little bit self-selecting, though, because all these listeners are saying, we know you love Stephen Conrad and Patriot, so you got to watch this. But you're right. It's on HBO. It's
That's
got like,
big.
and so because of that, I think a lot more people are just seeing it. You're not crawling to some weird corner of Amazon Prime.
I texted Stephen Conrad about
great.
that last night, and he got back to me, actually.
Awesome.
It was pretty cute.
What did he say?
Yeah. I just told him that I was really enjoying the show. Let me see. I can actually find the exact thing. I said, let's see here. I said, I'm really enjoying the show. I want to say congratulations. It's really fun to see a whole new group of folks discover how talented you are at this stuff. And he said, this morning I woke up to, good morning, Luke. I'm happy to hear from you. Thank you for taking the time to send this cool message. Hoping you are having,
God, I love him.
Hoping you are very well, Steve.
That's how he talks. That's
this
how they
cool
talk.
message.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, the repetition of. Oh,
Yeah.
Okay. We need to get back to thanking Chris O'Leary, because you haven't watched the rest of the season, the follow-up message that I sent to you and Genevieve about the Oxford English word of the year will make no sense to you.
Yeah, I didn't get it yet, but it didn't spoil anything.
That's not a spoiler of any kind. It's just the language of his shows are so interesting to me. They have their own syntax. And I mean, we spent many hours talking about this related to Patriot, so I won't redo that here, but it's just like he has this, Stephen Conrad as a writer has this ability to create a whole way of talking that is both non-naturalistic but very compelling.
What struck me was, and I don't know if you'd remember this because this might have been in the very first episode, which you would have seen a while back now, but I noticed the sort of pattern of the patter, if you will, in when the two cops were talking about the recumbent bicycle. They never use the word recumbent. They're just kind of going back and forth almost in a Hal Hartley-esque kind of way about talking about the design of this bike. I love it, and I'm going to try to watch as much as possible this weekend because I do sort of feel guilty for saying, you got to watch this thing, and now I'm saying, we can't talk about it because I haven't.
Oh, no. That's not how it feels to me at all. And I knew I wanted to watch it, and I also knew that when I finally did, this is what keeps me off of some shows that I'm actually excited about, is I was like, I know that I started watching it after the Mariners. I was processing my emotions, and I knew that I was going to be in it for, 4 hours of this or whatever. So, anyway, all that is to say, our pal, Chris O'Leary, says, hey, Cobros. I just wanted to say thanks, as always, to you two and Mr. Sklarov and the entire TBTL community, past and present, for 18 years of bringing something special to my life. Golly, Chris, some early adoption on this thing. Earlier this year, I was mugged while on vacation in Rome, Italy. Jeez, Chris, that sucks. I'm sorry. And while dealing with the trauma after it happened, just listening to the show gave me comfort and a nice escape from the harsh reality of being in an uncomfortable situation in a foreign country. Gosh.
God damn, man.
That
I didn't
sounds really-
read this in advance, so this is news to me. That must be, I mean, aside from just the actual moment of it happening and the terror of it, and then also whatever, if you did lose any worldly possessions, I mean, that's all bad enough. But I think I'd find it incredibly difficult just to regulate after something like that. Wow.
Yeah, I've never been mugged, but I would imagine it would be a really traumatic experience, and then added to by the fact that you're in a totally different place. You're not at your house. You're like, maybe people don't really speak the language. So
yeah, man, I'm
glad
sorry.
that TBTL maybe took a little bit of the edge off for you. Chris says, thanks for always being there and offering audible comfort, no matter where the Tens are in the world or what state of mind we are in. Cheers to TBTL's entry into adulthood. And then think about it that way. The show hasn't aged a bit.
No, not at all. How's that colonoscopy going?
Yeah, I guess if we're 18, I mean, we could be drafted.
Yeah.
We can vote.
We can.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Chris, thank you so much, and I hope you're doing okay in the aftermath. I hope,
Yeah.
not to tell you how to live your life, but I hope that hasn't dampened your wanderlust, because I know that traveling around the world and seeing things is a big part of your life. So hopefully you're getting back on the horse for all of that. So thanks again. Maestro?
On your mark. Get set. Now ready. Go. Everybody rattle, daddle.
Look who it is. It's our pal, Taylor Miller in Overland Park, Kansas.
Hey, Taylor. This is our KC Royals fan. The reason I am so into the Royals is almost directly related to Taylor. So,
but it's interesting because Taylor says Taylor, like Zachary Taylor. Was that a president?
I feel it was it was a president. I think I was going to say a founding father, but that's way wrong. But yeah, Zachary Taylor, I think
was he or Zachary Tyler or Stephen
Taylor was
from...
the 12th. Stephen Tyler has not been elected yet.
Yeah, but he remains the titular head of Aerosmith.
Joe Perry is VP.
Yeah,
if I understand that correctly.
Exactly. Yeah. And Miller, like Glenn Miller. Now, I'm surprised that Taylor didn't go with Taylor like Livingston Taylor. That's just a little cross-reference for us.
I love it.
I was just in Overland Park, Kansas. Well, I was in Olathe, Kansas, which is very near Overland Park. I was passing through a lovely country out there. Taylor says, I really wanted to write the best dazzling donor message you guys have ever received, but I'm already past the stated submission deadline. So that best ever message will have to be a 2027 thing when I'll be riding high off the excitement of the Royals' World Series victory a few months prior. Listen, if it can't be the Mariners, we'll take the Royals. Actually, I got to say, if it can't be the Mariners or the Twins or the A's, I just kind of got a running list of other teams that
you like the A's now. Oh, because
I just am thinking of their fan base.
No,
you know what I mean?
I'm with you on that. Yeah.
I've got room in my heart for a number of small market teams that I feel like are underfunded, and I would put the Royals have won it fairly recently. Bobby Witt Jr. could win a World Series by himself. It would seem.
Yeah.
Like he'd be like a cartoon character. He like hits the ball, then he runs the bases. It's a home run. Then he runs out and catches it, so it's also an out somehow.
Somehow, right?
It's like Bugs Bunny going up against the Gas House Bombers or whatever those guys were called in the old cartoon. But
they're a likable team for sure.
They just moved the fences in at the K. That's the Kaufman for all of you. I think I mentioned this to you, Andrew, when I was in Kansas City. But man, that Kaufman Center where they kicked me out of.
Oh yeah,
boy, that's one of the coolest buildings I've ever seen. And that's not the same as Kaufman Stadium, which probably has some other new name now, I'm sure.
No, it's
oh, really?
Is it Kaufman Field or Kaufman Stadium? But yeah,
so
I listen to the radio broadcast from time to time.
So they're not one. They actually have held the line. It's not. They didn't sell out the naming rights.
I haven't heard that.
That's great. I sure hope that that's true because I like that a lot. I wish there was more.
No, you're right. It's stadium, not field, by the way. It's Kaufman Stadium. Yeah, but it looks like
cool.
that's the name. It's not
Good
like.
for them.
Well, the thing is, though, Kaufman is. Clearly that is some sort of
family foundation.
It's a foundation.
Well, I think the Kaufman Center for the Arts, the big kind of metal building that I was talking about. That is, I believe, from like the Kaufman Family Foundation or like a very wealthy family called the Kaufmans. I'm guessing that they also
the founder and owner of the Royals. The founder and first owner of the Royals was Ewing Kaufman. Okay.
Well, the fact that the team hasn't turned it into Wingstop. Actually, that would be fine. I'm trying to think of it's when it's just so far when it's galleryfurniture.com or what was the really bad one it was a financial thing, but it was like Bank Rate Field. But even that doesn't sound as horrible. There was one that was just
it Florida or Texas? I feel like there were some tough ones.
I promise you it was in one of those two states.
Yeah, no offense.
It was just anyway, all that is to say, Taylor is talking Kansas City Royals and says they just moved the fences in at the K and Michael Garcia is going to put up bonkers numbers. Anyway, Taylor sounds like a person, Andrew, if you wanted to hand off your fantasy baseball team to somebody. Taylor sounds like the person.
That's a really good point. I do know. By the way, do you know this? I have not done one iota of work on my fantasy team this year. My friend Paulie drafted for me because I was out of the state and I was on vacation. I didn't feel like drafting. And also my heart just isn't in it this year. I just don't care. It's just people were like, do you want to trade a pick for this? And I was like, I legit do not want to do this. I don't know why. I was just I was not into it at all. And then, of course, and I didn't want to do this to Paul because, again, I think he got too invested in some of his previous fantasy baseball teams, so he wanted to kind of not get too involved. But he just sort of continues to take care of my team. And I realized today that I hadn't even opened the app in a week.
You know what you did?
I love
You sent Kurtwood Smith into a hotel room where the minibar refrigerator was open a crack.
Close the things that close. Yeah. I love the way this is a team that now, like, you were offered, you took, you asked me if I would be your co-manager. You ducked out almost immediately. I took over, and now I've done the same thing to Paul. But Paul has been invited to take over the team next year, and he declined when asked at the beginning of the season. I'm wondering if that might change, and I would certainly offer it to Taylor. If I don't know if it's mine to give away or the league's to give away, though, but I would certainly put in a good word if you want, Taylor.
Anyway, Taylor says, I want to thank the business boys for cranking out a show every weekday, even holidays.
Thank you.
I've recently realized how much I appreciate the regular connection to people who are like-minded from a kindness perspective. TBTL has made me part of a community where the common threads are caring about others and being very chill about Luke mispronouncing a Rosarena. I still think he should consider a Rosarena.
Yeah,
I just think it's more fun.
Yeah.
By the way, I got to give Randy some credit. He is hitting this year.
He is. Yeah.
He is, and you know, for all the disappointment I've felt in the middle of our lineup at times, he's definitely and Cole Young and Luke Raley.
Yeah, Luke Raley. Yeah.
Yeah, they're no what's the guy's name? Joe, something Joe.
Oh, Connor Joe.
They're no Connor Joe.
Yeah.
But that's getting too into the baseball weeds. TBTL has made me part of a community where the common threads are caring about others and being very chill about Luke mispronouncing a Rosarena. I'm extra grateful for that community during tyranny times. Thank you all. Thanks to all of the donors who helped make TBTL possible.
Oh, and you didn't even mention your Edward R. Murrow Award, Taylor. Very humble of you.
Taylor has an Edward R. Murrow Award?
She does. Now, notice
what?
I didn't say she didn't win it. She has it.
Ah,
it was from
okay.
it was from the public radio station nearby, which she also supports, and I think they had a whole bunch. They were cleaning out the basement or something.
What?
And so she walked away with it.
Can I get one?
Edward R. Murrow Award.
Tell me when the Peabody people are throwing some of them out. I'll grab one of those. You'll be right behind me on this respectability cabinet behind me, and then that could really get me out of a couple of resume jams. So thanks, Taylor. We appreciate you. Couldn't do this without you.
Hello and welcome to Top Story.
Our top story comes from my adopted hometown now of Portland, Oregon. This was a story on Coin.com, local TV station. Let's see here. I guess they don't give... Oh, they do give people bylines. It's Jashayla Pettigrew writing for Coin. Music Millennium axes album listening event over pushback against AI. Music Millennium is this very long-standing and beloved record store in Portland. Most big towns have one left, the one that's kind of outlived all the others and is now being kind of preserved just because, vinyl lovers want it to exist kind of a thing. It's a very beloved place. The Pacific Northwest's oldest vinyl shop canceled an event that caused major pushback over the usage of artificial intelligence. Music Millennium informed customers that it would no longer host a listening party for Brandon Carmody's album AI, an album produced with AI music generator Suno. That's what we were using, Andrew, when we were having it write all those songs for the Philadelphia show. Remember all those weird hick hop, sort of part country, part hip hop songs about Benjamin Franklin and us?
Oh, that's what you made them about. I couldn't remember what they were about. They were about Benjamin Franklin, right? And
well, they just were Philadelphia things,
yeah,
us things, and they would just come up with these kooky songs. But that was Suno, was the AI music generator that I was using for all of that. The guy who owns Music Millennium, Terry Courier, said he had planned to go forward with the event because they've hosted this guy, Brandon Carmody, before, and he's an accomplished musician. But he said several customers and employees, some of them artists themselves, expressed opposition against the event, arguing that AI was treading on the work of musicians who don't utilize it. The decision to cancel the listening party came after someone planned to protest outside of Music Millennium. The owner of the record store said, "I'm definitely a proponent of musicians being musicians. But, like the synthesizer, like the drum machine, like auto-tune, They've all infiltrated the music industry. The same situation came up when those things were happening with groups of people that go, that's not right, that's not right. And here we are. Those things are still being used today. So his basic point was there's been a pushback about all kinds of technological advances. I thought this was kind of interesting. For his latest release, Carmody asked Suno to emulate, quote, an epic 70s sound with full band to create themes, song ideas, and some lyrics for AI. He added that Paul McCartney's stint in Las Vegas last year motivated him to release the new album. That's a weird footnote. Not that he played with Paul McCartney. Not that Paul McCartney is on the record. Just sounds like Paul McCartney playing in Las Vegas inspired this guy to put out this record. I don't know if there's any allegation. If there's one person I wouldn't expect to use AI, it'd probably be Paul McCartney, right?
I mean, no. I'm not saying that he would rush out to do it, but I wouldn't say he's the last person in the world that I'd expect to do it. I could see him trying to. I think maybe he's done with this phase of his career at this point anyway. But I could definitely see him trying to get on. He's kind of a bandwagon.
He's kind of experimental. You know, some of the stuff,
and also he likes the limelight. So if he gets some headlines, he would take them. You know what I mean?
Oh, I don't. You think Paul McCartney would use AI so he could be in the discourse versus
I think
I
think he liked always being in the conversation, even amongst the kind of younger thing. Remember, he was even, this goes back to my time in LA, so clock it around 2014 or something, but he was on that song with Kanye
yeah.
and I think he always liked that kind of stuff. So I could see him again, not in 2026 given his age and where he is now, but if he were 20 years younger, I could totally see him being like, oh, Paul McCartney has AI on his new record, and he goes around and gives interviews about it.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I'm wondering, though, what... Oh, did I tell you this? I was doing a TV shoot a while ago for this thing called Dozer Days, which was they would have this heavy equipment that was out at the fairground, and you could they'd let kids on there to, try it out and whatever. I got to try it. It was really fun, by the way. I was reduced to a childlike wonder very quickly upon controlling one of those things. But I was talking to the woman who started this whole thing, who is married to a big construction kind of magnate down in the area. And as we're walking around, I'm hearing all this music about Dozer Day. And I was like, I go, where's this? I go, did you hire a band to write songs? Because they were pretty good. They're catchy, kind of countrified music and some kind of slightly hip hoppy or whatever. She goes, oh, my son made all this. I go, oh, he's a musician? She goes, no, he did it on the computer. And it was just Suno, and it was pretty convincing.
Well, you had talked about this on the show. We had a long conversation about it, and then and this was a while back when you did the story. And then after the show, I was looking for a show pick, and so I went to their website, and the music was on their website. They had made a video with that music, but the thing is, there's a lot of Dozer Days. I could play that for you right now if I can find it. Can you remind me what the
this was Clark County or Vancouver, Washington. Was the one that I was at and that had this music playing. And I guess my point is that it was, for what it was trying to do, which was just play through some loudspeakers as hundreds of people are just wandering about with their children, it 100% satisfied that pretty low bar for music.
I'm pretty sure this is it.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure this is AI.
Yeah.
Dozer Dan, are you ready to go? Put on your best overalls. Time to head to the show. Bring your family, bring your friends. It's that time again.
And Dozer Dan is the mascot.
It's the best time of the year.
I mean, it's sort of an indictment of this kind of music as well as...
It is. It is. But if you were walking around a state fairground, if you were walking around the Clark County Fairgrounds, as I was, and you heard that playing, and you didn't know something called Suno existed, you would just think, oh, they hired a kind of a pretty middle-of-the-road country music writer to just do something like that, which, again, it's a low bar, and you're also right, it's an indictment of that style of music, but it was sort of, it sounded like the thing that was trying to sound like.
Yeah, I mean, it's sort of, I didn't think of this at the time, but it's interesting to think that that's the music that the computers made, because I'm used to electronic music sounding more electronic, right? Can you think of anything? It's something that's supposed to sound so rootsy and down home on the country, you're on the farm sort of sound, and it's oh yeah, no, this was made by invisible robots in a cloud somewhere. I did want to talk a little bit more specifically about this article and also get your take on something else, because I will say the one thing that I don't fully understand from reading this is, and I kind of skimmed it. I skimmed the second half of it, so maybe it's in here. But like, I don't understand. He used AI in some way, but he's also releasing it as his own album. And he is a musician who's released albums before. In fact, he has performed. I don't know if you said this. He's performed or had other events at this record store, and that's why he was invited back for his previous project. So he's not like some guy who's never made music before. This time he used AI, but do they go into detail about like to what degree he used AI and how he incorporated his own music into that, or did he just tell the computer to make stuff?
It doesn't say in this article exactly how much of the music is created by the AI or by Suno. I know that there is a ratio or a formula, and I don't have it right in front of me, but like if you are going to be selling music that you've created on Suno, there is something there you are not allowed to, and I don't know how they stop you from doing this, but there is allegedly or technically a rule about the percentage of the music if you're going to try to sell it. So as of right now, I can't, again, I don't know if there are loopholes or ways to get around this, but I can't like take one of those songs that we had Suno write about TBTL Live in Philadelphia and just like put it on an album and release it as my own music. There is some kind of a percentage of original, I don't know, creativity that I have to display or I have to inject into the song so that I can call it my own music. My guess would be he's cleared that threshold if he's releasing this as his own music and doing a listening party. It just sounds like he's not as hung up about the letting the camel's nose under the tent. I mean, really, the overwhelming thought that I got from this was, we don't stand a chance. Like, I'm glad one person was going to show up outside of Music Millennium and protest this, but it's like, I'm trying to think of, I saw a headline the other day about somebody it was an actor and they were being interviewed and they were talking about how like they're really, well, one that I think I might have blue skied about or something was, again, I can't remember who the particular actor was, but it was like the headline was like, so-and-so calls for stronger regulation around AI actors. And I thought, well, that'll fix it. You know what I mean? It's like, it's like, I don't mean to be defeatist and I'm not trying to, I don't know, act like nothing matters, but it's like one actor saying we really need stronger regulation, or one person showing up outside of Music Millennium to go, I'm going to protest this music that has too much AI in it. It just feels like bailing out the ocean with a teaspoon. It feels like there is a tsunami of AI being used for stuff that we're just not. There's just no amount of pushback is going to hold it back, and no amount. I just don't think we're going to control all this. And in fact, this is a little bit to the side of that. But like, I was doing this event. I was helping out with this thing a few weeks ago, and with Rob Riggle down in Salem. And I was talking to some of the guys putting it together who are all veterans. And I was saying, hey, some of these questions about, military service, I don't have a big background in this. So like, if anybody wanted to kind of like suggest some questions for me to ask based on the fact that you've all served, I would be really open to that because I want to kind of know how to talk about these topics. And the one dude was just like, got back to me the next day. He was like, okay, I threw it all into AI. Here's the list. And it was just a bunch of AI generated questions, which by the way, were a garbage. But like, I was struck by how many people now that's the go-to. The thought is like, oh, it's a writing project I don't really exactly have a lot of experience on, or, oh, I need some questions for this. People are using this stuff now like a lot more than I guess I expected, because I still don't use it for anything. It's not a go-to for me. And so, I don't know, that's kind of to the side of the question of the music. But my point is just, when I read about this and I read about like one listening party is going to not happen at Music Millennium and because one person was going to show up with a sign, I just thought like, well, this is a great story, but this is in no way going to impact the overall direction of this stuff, which is, to me, is only going in one direction, which is more and more stuff like this is going to be made by AI as it gets better and better.
Yeah, so more on that in a second, because there's another example that is close to our hearts. Did you call me a moron? Shirley, you really need to finish the sentence if you're going to do the Shirley joke, Andrew. Okay, we're going to revisit that on Monday.
People get it.
No, but I want to revisit that exact type of use of AI in a second, because I think there's a story that I'm only partially privy to that's close to our hearts that I want to get your take on. But to go back to the music thing just for a second, I was reading this article today, the one that you put in the show sheet, and before I even got to the line about it, now you know that I am not an AI apologist. I, generally speaking, don't really like it. We just happened to mention, I think, yesterday on the show, we have a friend who works in the music industry. I think we were talking about that, right, Toon? She works for the Grammys. And, like, I had a conversation with her one time about, I don't want to downplay the very serious concerns people like her and other people in the industry have about the use of AI and what that means for artists who are already, like, kind of struggling with, how technology has changed their, ways of potentially making money, making art, which is something that's important. So anyway, I don't want to downplay that. Having said that, when I read these articles, sometimes it's hard not to play devil's advocate a little bit. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, well, there's always been controversy in music, right? Like, so whether it's Bob Dylan or whatever, like taking an acoustic guitar, but then making an electric guitar. There's a bunch of, purists very, very famously were upset about him going electric back in the day. And it's laughable now. But at least then it was kind of like, well, it's a new technology, but it's still, you still have to know how to play guitar. It doesn't,
it's like being mad about a theremin.
It's a little bit easier because, I think that it's just slightly easier to play electric guitar because you don't have to press down as hard. I remember when I was learning guitar, they said learn on an acoustic and then take that to an electric. But generally speaking, you still have to know how to play guitar. So that seems laughable. But I'm thinking about an artist like this guy who's saying, I'm using AI now, and the examples, and people don't like that. And I was thinking about the examples of, a drum machine. And then later on, I did think about auto-tune, too. These are two technologies that actually made the experience of playing that instrument, you could say easier, but definitely different. And, like, the reaction people are having to AI in this case, which is saying, like, you're not making the music anymore. Electric guitar, acoustic guitar, that could be a taste thing, but you're still writing the music and performing the music. Whereas AI is like, well, you're not even doing it. You're not making the music. You're letting the computer do it. But that would have been the same argument for a drum machine or against a drum machine back in the day. They would say, like, you're not back there swinging your sticks. You're programming something and then pushing a button. We all had those Casio keyboards that were the lowest level of that kind of thing, but it created a beat for you, And so, and auto-tune, we heard the same thing with T-Pain and everything. It's like, or even like the pop kind of stars of the time. It's like, well, we do this so not just because we like the sound of it, but because we trust the artists are making it with their own voice. And there is this sense of, like, cheating. You're not doing that anymore. You don't get credit share. And I think we're just well past that now.
Well, I would also say that, like a drum machine, like a drum machine that's just created from a pre-recorded track or whatever. If in the old days, let's just say I wanted to make a piece of music, but I don't know how to play drums, so I just use a drum machine track or whatever, and then I'm singing over it. You could be like, well, that's cheating because you're not playing the drums. You didn't have a human play the drums. But in that scenario, I'm still writing the lyrics. I'm still singing or rapping or doing whatever it is. God, Lord, help us if I'm rapping over it. But, like, there were still elements of human creativity, even if some parts of it was sort of just like, I guess George Washington's axe, right? You were like taking off little parts of it. There was a time when if you wanted to make music, you had to physically create the percussion on something. You had to physically create the other sounds, whether it was the harpsichord or the guitar or the whatever, the singing, the writing of the lyrics. All of it was all human created. And then at some point you could kind of do it without the drums if you wanted to. And the synthesizer could make some sounds, although, again, still someone was presumably pressing the keys on the synthesizer. But this is all happening while someone's still writing lyrics, they're singing, and now it's to the point where you've removed literally every element of it, potentially,
But
with
the
AI.
argument I was making was more about specifically, like, drummers would say,
Right.
you know what I mean? Like, forget about the whole album, but just saying, like, that's not drumming. You're not, I agree with you. I'm not condemning that. I'm just saying that, like, the conversation, it's almost like when I say the cliche that we grew up with about, like, kind of sexuality in pop culture and people saying, well, people were freaking out about Elvis too, like whether or not that argument holds up, it kind of doesn't matter. It's just that I know that people were freaking out about drum machines at one point too and saying, like,
remember those, what were those, like, weren't there like stickers that people would have that was like about drum machines? I feel like I used to see those sometimes on people's amps or something.
If you
and I feel like it was there was what was the Kill MFing Depeche Mode band? I don't even know if that's what it stood for, but there was like,
oh, was that KMFDM?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I feel like I used to see, I feel like they used to have some kind of a sticker that was like drum machines are inhuman or something. And I don't know if that was like a meta statement because they used drum
Yeah,
machines.
they were
I feel like-
electronic.
I feel like there was some kind of a like they were knowingly kind of calling themselves out on drum machine. I remember there was something around. Was that really the name of that band too, or was that just what we were told?
I listened to a little bit of KMFDM back in the day. I don't think that it really stood for that. I think other people said. I could be wrong about that, though. I don't know. I totally forgot about that Kill MFing Depeche Mode until you just said it right now. I hadn't thought about that in 30 years. So I don't know. I just remember my friend Henry liked them a lot, and he kind of got me into some electronic music. I've actually been listening to, well, I don't want to get off the rails too much here.
Sorry.
Because there's another thing I wanted to bring up with you that is so relevant to this, which I had been hearing some rumblings about, and then today I finally looked it up. But you and I are huge Angie Mentink fans, right?
Sure
Do you know
are.
where I'm
Sure
going
are.
with this? Have you heard about any of this?
Oh,
So
I saw a headline about her question.
Yeah, people have been piling on her because she was at the game, and instead of she wasn't doing color commentary in the booth. She was like, they kind of swap roles sometimes, and so she was down in the dugout or something, preparing for questions after one of the recent. You can't keep them straight, but from one of the recent heartbreaking losses from the Mariners, and some fan zoomed in on her and filmed her as she was using what people are calling ChatGPT, but I'm looking at a screenshot here, and it's actually some sort of Google AI thing. And she's literally writing good questions after tough loss in baseball, and I think it goes on to say for Josh Naylor or something like that.
I believe it was the game where we surrendered the 5 runs in the bottom
like
of the ninth.
two games ago.
Like the absolute heartbreakingest game that I can remember at this point in the season in years.
And now here's the thing about Angie, and you actually happened to just mention this on the text chain yesterday, I think. Like, she knows ball, right?
Absolutely.
She's not in there because of who she knows or because she's got a good broadcasting background. She has a baseball background, and she's
a professional baseball player for the Silver Bullets.
And so you and I like her. I love her personality. I think she's great, but also she's just a really great commentator
Resource.
who knows baseball. But she was using one of these AI tools just to she's about to run out on the field and interview a really tough interview, which is I'm going to talk to this team about one of the most heartbreaking losses you can imagine, choking up basically having the game in hand all game and then just choking up a loss literally in the last 3 outs. And so a woman who's been doing this for as long as I've been watching baseball, and I know that she can ask questions of baseball players. She has been doing it. She has this tool now, and she's just like, maybe I'm missing something. Let me ask AI. Now, I haven't done that, and I don't see myself using AI in that way, but it is becoming very common. And maybe I'm just feeling defensive about her because I really think she's an incredibly talented person who I know has a proven track record of asking smart questions and knowing things about baseball that a lot of people don't know. So for me, I hear that Angie Mentink is using this service. I know she's just supplementing or bolstering her reporting or just double checking to make sure there's something that she's not thinking of. But of course, fans piled on, and I think
It's going to have nothing to do with the fact that she's a woman.
Right, exactly. Do you think that Ryan Rowland Smith would be getting this same kind of pile on? Maybe a little bit, but nothing like this, because people see that she's a woman, and so they assume that she doesn't belong in that role, which is absolutely infuriating. But she responded. I think this came out today, although I haven't been following this closely. I feel like she responded on X, the Everything app. I feel like this is a pretty good response. She wrote,
We've gone from not calling it that name and now to doing it basically a little mini ad for them.
Yes, exactly. She tweeted out, currently asking AI how to handle going viral for using AI, and then kind of a winky face. And she wrote, in all seriousness, I'm late to the AI party. Earlier this season, I experimented with AI to see if I had any questions to add to my list for my post-game coverage. We've come a long way from pen and paper when I started in 1997. And I feel like that is absolutely reasonable.
Yes, absolutely. I could see myself, I'm not trying to act like I'm above using AI for stuff. One, I just don't, it's not a habit for me. I don't have it. I don't have any ChatGPT or any other apps like that on my phone. Or my laptop for that matter. But yeah, the idea that I know that she would be very capable of doing that interview without running it through a chat bot or whatever you call it, an AI thing. But I could also see just being like, hey, I've got 5 minutes while I'm waiting to get access to these players. Might as well see if the computer has a question I haven't thought of.
Right.
What's the downside?
Yeah.
And then you just look the question up, and if it brings you back a question, a proposed question that you don't like, you just skip it. Like, it doesn't hurt to just have one more, not even opinion, but one more just like suggestion, and you can ignore it or use it or not use it. That doesn't seem like some massive violation of, it's no Diana Rossini holding hands with your guy at the resort.
Your tiny little misstatement there that you corrected is really key. And I was about to say that you said opinion and then you changed it to question. I think there's a huge difference there. There is a I don't remember his name, and I don't think it really matters. You probably caught wind of this as well. But there was somebody who was either freelancing with the New York Times or maybe had a temporary position with the New York Times as I want to say book reviewer, certainly some sort of an art critic of some sort, I think a book reviewer, and he used AI to help write his opinion of this, and of course AI scraped the internet and grabbed something that somebody else had already written, which then makes it into the New York Times, and then everybody, at first it was like plagiarism, then he's like, well, no, I used AI, and then the New York Times said, you no longer do this. And I saw a lot of people reacting to that, just saying, imagine getting to the level where you have a job that like thousands of writers and book lovers would kill for, and you make it to like kind of the pinnacle, the New York Times, and you're using AI to write your opinion. So you mentioned there, like, I have no issue with people saying, I'm just going to see if AI comes up with good questions, because you can choose to use them or not. And either way, you're using questions to elicit an answer out of Josh Naylor or something. That is not plagiarism. There's nothing wrong with that. If you use AI to help formulate your opinion about Josh Naylor's performance or what this means for the Mariners season, you're like, wait a second, AI came up with this idea and you just reworded it. I think that is a problem.
Yeah, by the way, when that guy sent me the questions that he had AI generate, I read all of them. They were lousy, and I didn't use them. But if there would have been a good one in there, I would have totally used it.
Yeah, it's just a question.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it wasn't like it. I don't think there's any journalistic sort of malfeasance in seeing if the bot can come up with some good things to ask. I do think if what you're being paid for is to present your opinion, like if I had one write a CBS commentary for me,
right?
Like I feel that would be outsourcing it, to a degree. That would be me me not really doing the job that I was hired to do, which is to anger the video game community by shit talking Twitch. That's what I'm hired to do.
I couldn't see CBS ever using AI to write commentaries. That will never be in the future.
Well, it depends on which AI company it is. If it's too woke, if it's Anthropic, then you're right. They will never be using it if it's Anthropic.
I love the way that you just went even, because I was like, I said that in a way that I could totally cut that out if you wanted me to. I'm not trying to get you into any trouble. No, but I love you rolling.
I'm just over here writing stories about opera singers who sell cars in Florida. That's my lane, and I'm just going to stay in it.
All right. Well, what should we do here, Luke? It's a Friday. I feel like it's weird that have you picked up on this fact all week that the more tired I am, the more I yell? I think it's because I've been drinking. I think I had an entire pot of coffee today just to stay awake in time to do the show with you. And so I'm both like out of my mind, but I feel like I've been screaming at you for an hour. My apologies for that.
You want baseball? The Walshies got you covered.
I gotta find a middle ground somewhere.
I have to be honest with you, Andrew. I was reflecting, maybe it was last night, maybe it was this morning, that I think it's been a really fun week. You have maybe had a different experience because you've been sleep deprived, because you've had a lot going on. I know you've been on the Monday when you were on like Mr. Mom duty, and Lucy was having a time of it. I know you've been under a lot of stress. And I kind of know what that's like to be doing the show, but with a lot of like outside the show kind of mental stuff. But I think this has been a really fun week. I feel like we've had a few kind of signature moments of just like weirdly trying to play, the Bill Simmons show and like all of the Vedder Cup stuff. And I think it's been a really fun week. I've really enjoyed doing the show with you this week. So I would say we quit while we're behind.
Yeah,
and
right.
I also have a phone call with. Remember, I mentioned that I'm now becoming the go-to person for all of the people in my podcast universe to try to explain. You and I and John Sklarov now are the Gandalfs of trying to save the podcast industry, or at least some of our friends' projects, and guide them through Mordor.
That's
so
really
that's what I've got to do in 10 minutes.
I think we're talking about different people, because I have a friend who is they're just taking their podcast independent from a network that you know of as well. I'll keep it vague for now. I'll tell you after the show. And I'm very curious as to what prompted that decision for them.
I'll tell you off air, but I've got a call coming up in a few minutes, and I know you've got a dog to go hang out with. So we're going to go ahead and call that good for today's episode. And in fact, find ourselves at the end of this broadcast week, but I just want to say thank you again to all of you for spending all this time with us week in and week out. We really wouldn't have a show without all of you out there in listener land, so thank you. Everybody have a great weekend. Take care of yourselves. I'm going to just keep trying. It's like me just saying Jubilee. It's going to be right sometime. Everybody have a great Friday. Have a great weekend. Go Mariners, and please remember, no mountain too tall.
And good luck to all.
In 1971, Bill Gates invented Microsoft. Wouldn't it be cool if I could remember my dingus password for my email?
Power out.